Hello once again. Welcome and welcome back. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. It might be May, could still be April, not quite sure, doesn't matter. But I want to follow up on my last video just a little bit because Governor Andrew Cuomo's incompetence and corruption just knows no bounds. Now, while most people are still talking about Bill de Blasio's little missteps with the Jewish community, that shouldn't surprise anybody. I think from Los Angeles to Maine, everybody knew that Bill de Blasio was a moron, but for some reason they think that Andrew Cuomo is built to be president. Now, I totally do not believe that because this man has done nothing but talking nonsensical, circular logic, political platitudes for the past 8 to 10 weeks. None of it makes sense. So I got a couple more shots I want to send in his direction because the man just doesn't know when to quit. So he said on April 28th, "We have studied reopening plans around the world and spoken to global health experts." Okay, you want to name them? Are we talking about maybe the WHO? Because they lied to us from the very beginning? Or maybe the CDC, who flip-flopped on this, mask issue? Was that who you were talking to? Because they don't seem to know what's going on either. "We've come up with factual, data-driven principles to guide us on reopening. We will approach this on a regional basis. It's the only smart thing to do." Give it a rest, bro. Do you really think if you just say the word smart, then everybody automatically thinks that you know what you're talking about? I don't really think so, because if you were smart, you might look at the unemployment numbers instead of just every single scary COVID death. Give it a rest. Then on the 29th, these are the ones that really kind of triggered me, so let's go. "We must make reopening decisions based on fact. No politics, no spin, no emotions, no conspiracies. Just the facts and the data and the science." Well, that is Democratic Projection 101, because we know for sure that he will bring politics into it and then claim that it's the Republicans who are being so mean and they're being partisan. Because in one of his very next tweets, only 20 minutes later, he says, "Mitch McConnell and his partisan brigade are dividing our country." I thought you just said you didn't want to bring politics into it. And then you point the finger clear, straight across the aisle at Mitch McConnell. And then, it's different when I do it. What are you talking about, bro? He says, "Their not so subtle message is the states with more COVID cases don't deserve help from states with fewer cases because they are Democrats." Yeah, well, that's because you guys have been lying and fudging the numbers and juking the stats and, doing everything you can to make sure that the economy shuts down as long as humanly possible, because it sort of makes Donald Trump look bad, maybe, to some soft-brained sponges out there who don't know what's going on. He says, "This is ugly and reprehensible. It's also wrong on the facts." Dude, you wouldn't know a fact if it hit you in the face. Because the facts are this thing isn't half as scary as you would like it to be. And the other facts are that you are ruining the economy by keeping us safe from the flu. Dude, this guy. Then he says, "Let's talk about priorities." And he mentions Senator McConnell again. So, no politics in this, but twice now he's mentioned Senator McConnell. "McConnell cares about bailing out airlines, big corporations, hotels, restaurant chains, public companies." Okay, those are all things that Americans, New Yorkers work for. So is it wrong for him to care about that stuff? These people really think that if you don't work at a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods, you're swimming in a pool full of money? That's not how it works, you absolute moron. And he says, "The state and local governments want money to fund, like I saw coming a mile away. We need more federal funding because I broke everything and now you have to pay me to fix it." And we all know that that money will not get to the people who need it most. It will be siphoned and filtered through all those political pockets. And he says, "We want to fund police, firefighters, nurses, food banks, social services." Oh, social services. That's just vague enough to mean anything. You mean like NYC Thrive or whatever? That thing that de Blasio's wife mishandled $850 million, building up some social services and never saw the results from it? You mean something like that? Or the one where they're running all these ads on the train about how, transgender junkies will be given a safe space? That's the social services you're talking about? This doesn't make any sense. And then teachers. Oh, of course, yeah. Well, the teachers too. Yeah. Everything should be free, but we got to help the teachers. None of this makes sense. Then he goes on to say, when it comes to funding corporate America, no amount is too high. When it comes to funding working Americans, the purse strings are closed tight. Because for some reason he thinks those are two completely different things. It's called a corporation. It's called big business because they employ a lot of people. Why do you not see this connection? Is it malice or incompetence? I have to ask myself that every single day, and I wish I didn't. I say that's wrong. Let's fund working Americans. They really think that there's all these corporate Americans in a big corporate bubble somewhere just hoarding all this money, not wanting to run a business. That's not how it works, dude. It just boggles my mind at how he can pretend that he doesn't see the link between corporations and regular American citizens. Like, I get it. Everybody's can be a little bit shady. Politicians included, obviously, in some of these nasty corporations, but that doesn't mean that people don't work for them. And that doesn't mean that people that don't work at a grocery store are filthy rich. How are you not understanding this? Let's fund working Americans. Give it a rest, bro. Then he says, NY has received hundreds of donated masks from all around the country, from red states and blue states. Oh, okay. So you're super worried about this deadly virus that you shut everything down because people will die if they go to work. But you have no problem accepting masks from unknown people all around the country. How do you know they don't have the virus? You also accepted ventilators from China. How do you know those aren't faulty? Well, China's here to save us. No, they're the ones that started this whole thing. And you're stupid enough to be like, thank you, China, for all those ventilators, even though you didn't need them in the first place, along with all the other stuff you didn't need. We've been through that. Then he says, they were sent because Americans are unified and generous and kind. Oh my God. They're laying it on so thick with these platitudes. It's just a whole lot of nothing. Yes, today is the future for tomorrow of yesterday's youth. With strength and division, we will conquer all obstacles for tomorrow and next year forever. It's like, what? None of this makes sense. And then he says, our politicians should aspire to be at least half as good as the American people. I can agree with that. Start with yourself, you old catcher's mitt face hack. And then he's got a little bit of propaganda. Join us at 7 p.m. Eastern to celebrate essential workers. Yeah, I guess. All right, sounds good. Let's throw a party for the people who still have jobs. Let's pay them more while everybody else gets nothing. This doesn't make sense. And then from his Instagram story, he's got this photo of all these homemade masks. Thousands of masks have been sent to New York from around the country, made with love. This is a self-portrait of the goodness of Americans. Thank you. And for those wondering, yes, we will find good homes for the mask. First of all, I'm not wearing a mask. We're not doing that anymore. The time for the mask had already come and went. This is over now. And for the second time, if you are so afraid of the virus, why are you accepting masks from unknown people around the country? How do you know they don't have the virus? It dies in the mail. What are you talking about? None of this makes sense. You know? So I will give the Cuomo family a break from here on out. I can't deal with them anymore. You know, Andrew Cuomo, son of nepotism and fake news Fredo, liar extraordinaire. I cannot deal with these men. They are absolutely awful. But until the next one, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.